Well, here we are once again, AIM Investing Show, where we take the guesswork out of the stock market and teach you all about AIM investing and how to plan for your future. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing great today, Rebecca. Thank you.
The holidays are upon us. A lot of people are thinking about what to do with their money, what to invest in, how to begin the new year. There's lots of things that people have to think about when they're planning for their future. We've been talking the last few weeks about what is AIM investing and what how people can plan for their future with even just a little bit, even if they haven't done anything until
Sure.
right now, they can get
Let
started
me
at
give
any
them
age.
the quickie introduction to AIM investing. Let me give you the essence of it. If you bought an investment at $20, you would put in, if you're doing a leap, which is a long-term option on a stock like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, etc. If you bought it originally at $20, you would make this next buy lower because you always want to buy low and sell high. So when you set up AIM, let's say you started with 20,000, you would have started with 10,000 worth of either leaps or leveraged ETFs and 10,000 cash, which is only used when you make a buy. So again, your first buy, if you bought at 20, would be at 15. Your first sell would be 35% higher. So you'd be selling at 27. So you'd look at the bottom of your spreadsheet, very simple 13-column spreadsheet that just involves arithmetic, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And we all have little calculators to help us do that, because who wants to do that by hand anymore? That's an improvement. And I can show you exactly how to do it. I'm willing to help anybody who signs up with me for AIM management. And if you'd like to see more of what AIM is about, let me send you my free book, a free sample newsletter, and two of my leaps list and weekly top 10 list, which consists of both leaps and leveraged ETFs that are cheap to buy right now. So I give you a good source to find current leaps and leveraged ETFs that are good to buy. And I'll give you one hint that you want for Christmas. For Christmas, you want to own Apple leveraged ETFs. The symbol on that is AAPU. Apple, Paul, Union. Because last year, I can't guarantee it this year, but last year, Apple paid two dividends in December, the leveraged ETF, and it paid about $5 a share. And right now it's selling for about $35 a share. So, for example, if you bought 100 shares for $3,500, you'd be getting a $500 dividend in December, before around the end of December. And several other leveraged ETFs like Microsoft and others also pay a dividend. And like I said, if you write me at jeff@jjjinvesting.biz, B-I-Z, I will send you a free copy of my book, a free copy of my newsletter, and my latest issue of the monthly master list of leaps and leveraged ETFs I like, along with the current list, weekly list I send out the beginning of every month that ranks both leaps and leveraged ETFs from cheapest to highest. So you alone know your budget. We all have different amounts we can invest. So I help you find a good leveraged ETF or LEAPs that you can afford to buy with the money you have to invest. This is a way of investing that can help you if you have very little money or a lot of money. I have one portfolio in my newsletter that you'll see when you write me or call me that is for wealthy investors. It started with like $20 million. I find it easy to spend your money out there, world. Okay. And the 20 million in 3.5 years has grown to 106 million. I have another portfolio called In the Money that's a little less expensive to buy. That portfolio started with a little over 1 million, and now it is up to over 40 million. So that
Wow.
portfolio is up 5,413% in 18 and a half years. Of course, the way to do that is to compound your money. I always put in the old profits when I made new buys, and you'll see AIM makes it easy to do that. Anybody can learn it quickly. I taught it to one individual in 2020 who had a good knowledge of investing, but had never invested in leaps before. And from January 2020 till December 2020, he grew from 550,000 that he started with to 1,750,000. And he was able to custom build his own house in Mexico and retire.
And you make yourself available to the world to get the answers to these questions and learn the ins and outs so that people can create generational wealth for themselves, for their
Right.
children, for their grandchildren. Will you explain the beauty of compounding and how
Okay. Yeah.
that
Here's the
grows?
beauty of compounding. There's a famous story about a little boy who did something nice for the king and took care of his horse. And the king said, I'll give you anything you want. And the boy took out like a checkerboard and said, give me a penny and double it every day. Well, the king said, oh, he's foolish. Well, for the first 10 or 15 days, he didn't make much money. For that last 7 or 8 days, he wound up owning the kingdom. Because basically, if you compound at 25% a year, which is easily attainable with AIM, probably a lot higher on average, I've found from my newsletter. You look at it and you'll see. What I have found is if you started with 1,000, by the 10th compounding, you'd be investing to start with 9,500 without ever having added another penny, which you can't do anymore because there's no more pennies. So there's nothing like compounding for you. Why do you think all the credit card companies compound your bill? They're compounding your debt so they can make even more money. So if you think
Right.
you're paying 25%, it's more like you're paying 30 or 35%. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you because they know how to make money and many of us don't. So one famous philosopher said, compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. So you want to get compounding working for you. And I'll give you an example. I have one method of investing called lean AIM for people with smaller sums of money. That way you could buy an expensive leap, but you don't need to buy 15 contracts. You have to buy contracts with leaps a contract equals 100 options. So if a leap is $20, a contract is $2,000. So that regular AIM is for larger investors. But here's what one of my friends did who didn't have a lot of money. He liked Tesla at the time. He could buy one contract at the money on Tesla for $5,000. So he bought the contract. We decided to do lean AIM. Lean AIM is the simplest way to invest. And I have 3 binders full of about 1,000 spreadsheets that show cells from lean AIM for 3 years, probably well over $1 million. So it works. The average time to sell a lean AIM is 1 month. So here's what happened. My buddy, he was right on the nose of 1 month. He paid $5,000 for the one option. We immediately listed it with the broker for 25% higher, which works out to $6,500 for a $1,500 profit. He got that sell in a month. Now he has $6,500 to invest in his next lean AIM, buying maybe 1 or 2 contracts. And if he sold that one, he'd have about $9,000 to invest on his third buy. So during the course of a year, he should get a minimum of 5 or more rollovers on his compounding. And that's the way you build wealth quickly. I mean, I had one guy, and the beauty of AIM is that it's intensity driven by the stock market. You make a lot more money in a year where you have a roaring bull market. In fact, we had a roaring bull market since April. I don't think it's ended yet, truly. And one of my larger investors, his portfolio had sunk from 900,000 to 700,000. His cash had gone down low also. I don't remember exactly how much. But since April, his portfolio has grown from 700,000 to 2,400,000, roughly 6 months. He wants to retire soon and kite surf. He loves that. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to the stage in your life when you're doing exactly what you want to do. So you got to look out for yourself 5, 10, 20 years down the road. And the beauty of AIM is it makes profits a lot quicker than traditional investing methods. So you could start in your 50s or even 60s, and you could catch up and have enough money to live a good retirement, even with this high inflation we're probably going to have for the rest of our lives. So think of yourself and your family. And here's the beauty of it. You learn AIM, you can teach your kids. They learn AIM, they can teach their kids. Mm-hmm. Because it's only going to get worse out there. Nobody knows exactly what it's going to be. So I tell you, you need an excellent side hustle. And guess what? You can do AIM from the beach. My kite surfer buddy all the time makes trades on the beach, and he's making 50, 60,000 a day on trades while he's kiting. You know, you can't do that in a Walmart. You know what I mean?
Right. And, that's why you have a very special course, and we'll make sure people know more about that.
That will teach you everything about AIM that you need to know to get started. And then I would advise you to sign up with me, because I perform a lot of AIM management for people, which allows them to call me anytime, day or night, literally, with any questions you have on your AIM portfolio. I will guide you to the best kind of stocks that have leaps that I like, and I will guide you to the best leveraged ETFs. You really need to connect with me if you want to have a great retirement and you don't want to worry about money if you get laid off from your job.
So I have one more question for you, Jeff, because now that people have been hearing about this term for the last few episodes, and for those that don't, we're going to keep talking about it because it's very empowering for people to know how to do this themselves. So once they've acquired that list from you, because you've done all the footwork to discover what is the best quality stocks for people to invest in, once they've realized what they'd like to invest in, will you explain what the advantage is to looking at the 52-week lows before people make a choice?
Sure. My cardinal rule of investing is look for something that is at or near its 52-week low. Okay, so I look for ones that have a high and low of better than 100% normally. But for example, if I found a stock that the low was 15 and the high was 50, and right now it's selling at 16 or 17 for the stock, I would go look at the leap and see if that is also cheap in price. And what I will do with anybody, I will show you how you can check on Yahoo Finance and see exactly how any particular leap that you like is going to do. So if I suggest to you, we're going to buy the Apple Strike 200 call at $50, we'll say. Okay, I will take you, we'll talk on our phone, and I will have you go to Yahoo Finance with me, and I will walk you through how to check and see how a leap is good or bad for AIM very quickly in about 2 minutes. And we can look up several at the same time, because what Yahoo Finance has that's wonderful is they have a chart not only for the stock, and what you want to do in that case is look at 1 year's worth of data, which will be identified on Yahoo as 1Y. Then you would go on the left-hand side next to the stock information on the summary page, you will see a drop-down menu and you will see options on that. So you would click on options, and now your computer shows you an option page. It always defaults to the shortest term options, say December 25. Well, we don't want that. We want to go to the January 28 options. Well, you hit the little slide next to the menu. You go down to the bottom of the menu and you will see January 28 on the menu, and you click on that. And now suddenly you're in the option chain for the 28s, and you get a lot of data initially. You will see what the bid and ask prices are, which is a way I'll talk about that more if you call me. But normally the intrinsic price, the real price you might pay, is somewhere in the middle. So if you see a leap that has a $20 bid, it might have a $23 ask. That means its intrinsic value is $21.50 right in the middle. You add the bid and ask, divide by 2. Now, that's not all I want to see. And since the 28 leaps have only been out since September, 3 months or so, you need to do it a little differently. If you were looking at an option that has a whole year of existence, at least, you could look at the 1Y graph. But what you want to do with the 28s is look at this, click on 6M for 6 months, and you will still see how that leap has performed for the first 3 months. And you want to see if it's looking like it's down. And what I love on the pattern, and I'll explain it better when we look at them together sometime, is I love a pattern where I see it's gone down, but in the last week or two, it's started back up. Because that's the time, get on board before the stagecoach starts going full speed. You know what I mean? And too many people jump on the stagecoach when it is going full speed and they get thrown down and hurt. Same with investors, So I can help you with all of this stuff. I can't explain everything in great detail because I just don't have the time. But if you call me again at 210-478-0655, and I always answer, no voicemail for me, I will have as long a conversation as you want to answer any points you want to do. And seriously, think about doing it sooner than later, because the economy is only getting worse for employment, for inflation, for other things. Look how many people have had their houses foreclosed on. I've done the opposite through AIM. I had one guy make over 800,000 in profits just on Apple and Microsoft leaps. And he was able to have a custom built house built for his disabled parents, exactly suited to their needs. I felt great about that, along with the guy who had colon cancer and he took 200,000 out of his profits from the 1 year of AIM and had a custom built house built for himself in Mexico. That's the secret of life.
But this form of investing, it puts it on autopilot for you folks. So
it's almost autopilot. And again, I urge you to call me 210-478-0655. Or if you're anywhere near San Antonio, Texas, come visit me. We could set up a visit. And I do have Zoom capability. So if you wanted to even have a Zoom session, we could meet on Zoom.
You heard it, folks. Lots of information at jjjinvesting.com. Be sure to check it out. Say hello. Give a call to Jeff and say hello. We thank you so much for being with us and for just exploring more about AIM investing with the rest of our television audience.
Right.
And
you
and
can
beyond.
make millions with this. I guarantee it. I've made people over $16 million sitting right where I am now.
And there's more to be made.
Exactly. We even have better investing vehicles than when I started. Because when I started, I had to use stocks. Leaps didn't exist. Now they do. And now leveraged ETFs came along about 6 months ago, and they're perfect for beginning investors who don't have a lot of money and want some diversity. So I can help you, whatever state you're in, whatever amount of money you have, make it work the hardest it can for you when investing. CDs don't cut it anymore. Annuities don't cut it. You want to learn how to grow a little money into a lot of money, and I can do it for you.
All right, thank you, Jeff. This comes at a great time, right before the end of the year. So we've got a lot of great episodes coming up where we're going to explore this in more detail.
Buying my course for your kids would be a great Christmas present that we'll keep on giving.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. Retirement is the long game. We can't play about our future or our finances. Let's put ourselves in the right position.
Tired of old school cable internet slowing you down? Let Tech Savvy Sales and Marketing Group help you make the switch. We are a leading provider of internet, home automation, security, and TV services, offering high-speed solutions tailored to your needs. Thanks to partnerships with top providers like AT&T Fiber, Vivint, Kinetic Windstream, Brightspeed Fiber, and DirecTV, we can connect you with amazing deals. For example, switching from Spectrum Cable to AT&T Fiber can boost your upload speeds by up to 25 times, providing plenty of bandwidth for smart home devices, streaming, gaming, and work. No more lag or slowing down. Our highly trained professionals offer free personal consultations, and unlike other providers, we go above and beyond with direct communication and doorstep visits to find the best solution, tailored to your exact needs. Call us today to schedule your free consultation or visit our website for more information on our services.